Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. The AFC West is now officially home to the grossest receivers on earth for the foreseeable future, Perna. Obviously, from a football perspective, Tyreek Hill and Antonio Brown are dreams. Dreams come true for quarterbacks to throw the ball to. Not necessarily a good dream, though. More like a nightmare that turns into a nice sex dream. So you're happy by the end of it because you came out on top, but feel weird when you wake up because during the nightmare part, you escaped the ghosts in your basement, but had to kill your first grade teacher in order to do so. Honestly, I couldn't tell you who I would rather have on my offense. Probably Tyreek Hill because he actually seems like a good teammate. And if I were a GM, I wouldn't have to worry about him calling me a bitch. And if he did, nobody would ever be able to prove it. The real tragedy is that I have to continue to work in an unsafe environment here at That's Good Sports as we are back to 0 days without referencing Antonio Brown. We also had a Bears and Packers football game. That's Good Sports. Hey, football fuckwads, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and I'll stop calling you fuckwads. Also, new 8-bit helmet designs are in the That's Good Sports store. I've got the Oilers up. You asked for the Oilers, you got the Oilers. Also, big dick Patreon shoutouts for Ouchie, Dat Hurts for upping to $10. I made Brandon Perna say he loves Tom Brady and enjoyed whatever the rest of your name was cut off. Calvin H, Senior Squishy, Alex W, Moving Target, Aaron Johnson, Tony D. Donato, upping to $10, Stephen Jester, and Lisa, who I owe an apology to. Lisa, I'm sorry I missed your shout out. I skipped over your name probably because you have a Chiefs logo. Sometimes my brain just ignores it. But Lisa, thank you so much for your donation. You can support That's Good Sports, patreon.com/that'sgoodsports. And I posted the link to the FanDuel Friends League in the Patreon. The Kansas City Chiefs, after signing running back LaShawn McCoy to a 1-year deal, have now officially solidified their offense to be a force for at least a few more years. The hashtag Chiefs and wide receiver Tyreek Hill have agreed to a 3-year, $54 million contract extension that puts him among the highest paid at his position, sources say. After an up-and-down offseason, KC and Hill make it clear they are sticking together. What Ian Rappaport calls up-and-down offseason is, of course, a reference to the accusations that Tyreek Hill broke his son's arm. He was not convicted, and the NFL's investigation did not find enough evidence to suspend him. Also from Rappaport, Tyreek Hill gets $35.5 million guaranteed with a $5.8 million signing bonus. It's a unique structure, but one that both sides, given the circumstances, agree is fair. Love how Rappaport is tiptoeing around the issue so he doesn't piss off Chiefs fans. A unique structure, but one that both sides, given the circumstances that Hill may or may not be a child abuser in addition to pleading guilty to domestic abuse of a pregnant woman, agree is fair. As fans, we don't know the truth here, all right? Just like we don't know if LaShawn McCoy brawled with off-duty police officers or paid people to rob his home and beat up his ex-girlfriend. Remember that story? I tried to ignore those things about the man named Shady so I can honor Mr. McCoy, the guy who tried to host an orgy with a public invite for females only. What I do know is that nobody can hate Andy Reid, especially if he held a private orgy event. You know the buffet at that orgy would be legendary. Not like one of those naked sushi girls, but a naked pulled pork and gravy pog. I wish I could hate Andy Reid, but when he says things like, I hope he can still run fast with all that money in his pocket, referencing Tyreek Hill, I can't help but smile. Not because it's cute and endearing, but because I now know the best time to rob Tyreek Hill is on game day, since he's the only idiot who plays with cash in his uniform. God, he is lucky Aqib Talib is in Los Angeles. Now, Jon Gruden confirmed that Antonio Brown will play on Monday Night Football, saying that's the plan.
That's the plan.
After Brown realized $30 million hung in the balance, he decided the right thing to do was issue an emotional, fake apology to the team with the team captain standing by his side so nobody could see that his fingers were crossed. You sly dog, Antonio. The Raiders can't take away his $30 million if he crosses his fingers during the apology. Fucking brilliant, man. Oh, I wish I had your smarts. Now, as an unbiased observer, I believe as soon as Brown's $30 million actually becomes guaranteed, which I think is Monday, he will become a fucking incubus again. It feels like $30 million buys the Raiders exactly 1 week of good behavior by Antonio Brown, which I think technically makes the Oakland Raiders the least profitable daycare on earth. AB literally called Mike Mayock a bitch and a cracker and threatened to punch him in the face, and he still has a job. I've been called a bitch before, and I turned the other cheek, but I have never let somebody call me a bitch and then guaranteed them $30 million. The Houston Texans don't even have a GM. But that guy has more authority right now than Mike Mayock. At this point, Mike Mayock should consider resigning. If the first few months are any indication, his regime is going to be a disaster. His coach won't stick up for him. He didn't even want Brown in the first place, which shows you how much authority he does have. And now the guy he didn't want is calling him a cracker to his face and suffers no repercussions. And for all we know, it was Gruden's idea to take Clelin Ferrell at 6. But it's clearly not going to work out in Oakland, and he should get the fuck out of there while he can save face. If he can't save face, he can at least save sparsely grown goatee. Now we can say this is all about money, or second chances, or sunk costs, or whatever. But we know the truth. We know what this is really about. Jon Gruden fears the wrath of O.J. Simpson. O.J. already drafted Andrew Luck for his fantasy league, who then retired. And now he thought he was going to lose out on Antonio Brown. And sure enough, O.J. makes one phone call to Jon Gruden, says a few choice words, says offhand that he just bought some new cutlery and that he'd hate to get it dirty. And all of a sudden, AB is back on the practice field, ready to go for Monday night. Makes you think, doesn't it? Now, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth dressed like it was 1919. Many think this was to pay tribute to the start of the 100th NFL season, but if I learned anything from Larry Johnson, it's that this is a subliminal message. The NFL wants all men to remember that 1919 was the last year of American glory before women were allowed the right to vote with the 19th Amendment, which was ratified in 1920. And that, we all know, was the real reason for the Great Depression. It's hard to believe, though, that in a game with Aaron Rodgers, the most exciting play was a 63-yard game-clinching punt from JK Scott.
6'6", and JK Scott got it all. Look at that extension.
It's hard to believe that because it was really only a top 5 play of the game, behind Aaron Rodgers' deep pass, Aaron Rodgers' touchdown pass, Aaron Rodgers helping Adrian Amos get the game-winning interception, and Aaron Rodgers' coy smile and laugh during his post-game press conference. Aaron, Aaron, Aaron! Being a Packers fan is easy. When everything goes right, we credit Aaron Rodgers. When everything goes wrong, we blame everyone but Aaron Rodgers. And that's how football should be. The Bears' defense looked ready to dominate the league again. Surprisingly, the Packers' defense showed the same competency, which had Aaron Rodgers fired the fuck up. If AB can call Mike Mayock a Nazi pedophile, I think it's okay for Aaron Rodgers to try and fracture Mike Pettine's collarbone. If Antonio Brown can call Mike Mayock a juggalo dogfucker, I think MItch Trubisky can get better. After one game, I saw the Trubisky bandwagon lose members faster than the Titanic lost its wealthiest passengers. Mitch may never become a great quarterback. He may never be better than what we saw last season. But do not discount how good the Packers' defense might actually be, which, if true, makes them my new NFC Super Bowl favorites. Only time will tell there, but I fully believe Rodgers and the Packers offense will get right sooner rather than later, and when they do, if that defense stays the same, they will be a dangerous team. Now, I do want to end this episode with what was the greatest moment from the Thursday night football game. Not the silly "we wish women's suffrage never happened" hats that Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth were wearing, but an Al Michaels laughing when he hears someone admitting they have never had their gut or butt fingered.
I've never had my gut fingered.
36-yard line.
I've never had my gut fingered.
The greatest mystery of the 2019 season will be who said the butt fingering thing.
I've never had my gut fingered.
Oh man, this is gonna be the best gate to date. The butt fingering gate. Butt finger gate, butt finger gate, butt finger gate. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube for more bullshit talking about football. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, at Brandon Perna if you want to follow me there and tweet me your dumb thoughts. I'll respond to your dumb thoughts. Also, at Wilkie6 is on Twitter. That's my writing partner. Give him some love.